I'm here, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Miracle, have you seen the motion that's being brought?
Yes.
And do you have any objection to the motion?
Yeah, I do have a lot of objections to it.
All right, we'll come back to you. Ms. Cassiato, is there anything you want to say in addition to what's contained in your petition?
No.
All right, Mr. Miracle, what's your position?
Well, I don't know where this came from. I've never been abusive towards my son at all. I believe that this is just a string of CPS cases that have been Rebecca's started a lot of CPS cases. All of them have been unfounded. This will be unfounded as well. I guess that's my position on it.
Ms. Cassiato, what's the status of the CPS investigation?
It's still an open and active investigation. My son just met with the forensics interviewers last week. It's still on.
And where's the child been since this motion was filed?
With me.
All right, Mr. Miracle, I think at an excess of caution, given what's pending, I'm going to suspend your time with the child right now. I'm going to put this over 1 week. That would be the 21st at the same time. Ms. Cassiato, we're going to need something from that CPS investigation or some other something else to back up the claims here. Right now, obviously, we don't have much. But just excess of caution, we'll hold off for 1 week. Mr. Miracle, it would be in your best interest also to file a response to the motion. You understand that?
Yes, sir. I just didn't have enough time to file. She's moved up to Alaska, so serving her makes it pretty difficult at this time. I wasn't able to hear anything that Rebecca was saying.
She just indicated the child was just interviewed this week by the forensic interviewer. So I'm hoping we'll have something for this hearing next week, so I can make a little more informed decision. And Mr. Miracle, if you file a response, you don't have to have Ms. Cassiato personally served with it. You can just mail it to her or email it to her. That'll be sufficient.
All right.
Okay, so we'll suspend visits if there are any for this week, and we'll review this next week. Ma'am, if you've got any information from that interview, I really need to see that. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that will be all.
I'm here.
And do we have Mr. Peak? All right, well, ma'am, I'm looking at a proposed parenting plan that looks like both of you signed off on. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go ahead and sign that then.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here, Your Honor.
Present, Your Honor.
Okay, so I've got a proposed parenting plan that Ms. Tift has signed. Mr. Whipple, do you have any objection to what she's presented?
I still haven't been served with any paperwork, and I haven't been able to get a hold of a copy of her parenting plan at all. So I still don't know what has been proposed or what I would be agreeing to.
Okay, well, the parenting plan presented seems to agree with what I ruled. which is Friday at 5 p.m. until Sunday at 5 p.m. And then she's also added Tuesdays at 5 p.m. to Wednesday at 5 p.m. every week.
Yeah, that is how it's been for the past couple weeks since the last court date.
I will sign that order then, and as I mentioned before, if you folks aren't in agreement, this is a temporary parenting plan. If you're not in agreement on the final parenting plan, we'll need to get a hearing set. We'll need to get a guardian ad litem appointed. So you need to decide if this is the final. And if so, then present a proposed final parenting plan that you both sign off on.
Okay, if there are modifications that I would like to suggest, would I bring that up with somebody else with the guardian ad litem, or is that something I'd bring up here?
Well, first step is bring them up with Ms. Tiff. If she's not agreed, then you'll need to file a motion to modify. Okay,
if I want to get in contact with her about the changes that I'm proposing to the temporary parenting plan at the very least, is that something that I would have to have her served with again, or is that something that I'd have to go through mutual third-party communication? Or
yeah, there's a no contact order between the two of you, isn't there?
There is.
Yeah, so you're going to have to go through a third party to have any of those discussions. Understood?
That's understood. So is that a legal third party, or is that something that I could just friend of a friend over to her?
Well, I don't know what language is in the no contact order. That's not part of this case. So you want to make sure you're not doing something that's prohibited by that order, because that'll get you.
I'm not allowed any contact of any kind. No third party contact included in that. So that's why I've been trying to keep that to a minimum, because I know that it's very particular on what I am and am not allowed to do.
All right. Well, you're going to have to then, I think, go through an attorney, or if we were to appoint a guardian ad litem. What I'd suggest you do in that other case is go in front of the judge who issued that order and ask that the no contact order be modified in some way to allow third party contact to discuss the parenting plan. That would be your safest bet.
That is something that I do plan on doing. I still haven't had the opportunity to speak with my attorney yet on the criminal case. It's been a few months now since the date of my arrest, and I still haven't been put through with her.
Okay, well, I suggest you call their office and make an appointment. I'm sure they will see you. If you haven't in a couple of months, you're already creating some real problems for yourself.
That is another thing I was wanting to bring up. I was wondering if I could get a continuance on this case until my criminal court case has concluded.
Well, right now, there's no other hearings pending in this case, so that's not a problem.
Okay. And I guess one of the last, well, I have a list of things that I would like to change with the current parenting plan, but like you said, that's probably something that I should just take up with her and have some sort of agreement on outside of court.
Yes, but like I say, make sure you're not running afoul of that no contact order. So the first thing you want to do is get a hold of your attorney on the criminal case and ask them to go into court to get that modified so you can have that third party contact.
Okay.
Just about the parenting plan.
Okay. I will do that then.
All right. I've signed that order, and that will be
Your
all.
Honor, it's Aaron
Yeah,
Winkles
thank-
appearing. As you're aware from what you saw yesterday, my jaw, I have not gotten the plans done, but I have been in contact with everyone. So I just asked for a 1 week set over.
And anyone object?
No, Your Honor.
Right, hearing none, we'll go ahead and continue that to the 21st. And
Okay.
please take care.
Thank you so much.
So for the 21st?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I see Miss Farr in the waiting room. Let me take care of that. Ms. Farr's report. Uh, we have Ms. Woodruff.
Yes, Your Honor, we're here. And so is Cody Doble.
All right. And the issue at this point is where we stand on visitation with the mother. Ms. Farr, I've read your report. Anything you want to add to that?
Your Honor, I think that I did summarize what my opinion was about visitation in my report, but you know, my appointment in this up to this point has been as the court visitor and getting the emergency order in place, and really not as a guardian ad litem. So what I did recommend was that the visits remain as is for now, and that the emergency order and that the order appointing emergency guardians gets entered.
Mr. Anagnostou?
Yes, Your Honor. I just received Ms. Farr's report, but my point is we've been asking for expanded visitation to overnight visitation. And even reading Ms. Farr's report, I see no reason why that should not occur. My client lives with her father, the grandfather. The child has a good relationship with the grandfather. The child has a bedroom at the grandfather's. If the court's concerned about where she has the child during her residential time, we just make it contingent upon being at the grandfather's house. She has a bedroom there. She's got a relationship with the grandfather. There is no reason we should not be expanding visitation to my client. There's this issue about money. My client is disabled. She has health issues. And she indicates to Ms. Farr, and I think it's absolutely correct, you don't get TANF funds unless you have a child in your residence. And so for them to complain that she doesn't have residence and she doesn't have funds to support her child, well, I mean, are we going to start taking children away from every parent that has a disability that is on Social Security? She has a residence, her father's. Her child has a room there. They have a relationship. She has a good relationship with the grandfather and with my client. We need to expand visitation, as we've been requesting for months, waiting for this report. This report doesn't say anything other than my client has a good relationship with her daughter, has a place for her to reside during visitation, and that we should be promoting that. And I know there's allegations about another child and a dependency action. I'm not involved in that. That's not part of this case. The older daughter, Michaela, lives with my client at the grandfather's house. So she's at least part-time, according to the report. I know they're shaking their heads, but that's what the report says. And in any event, we're dealing with this child in this case, and the visitation needs to be expanded.
And so, Your Honor, to add to that, what I would say is that this is not about visitation with the grandfather. This is about visitation with the mother. And if the mother does not have the funds, the ability to provide for the child, the grandfather might, but the mother does not.
Ms. Woodruff, Mr. Doble, anything you wish to say?
Just based on the time that I've spent taking care of these children, there has been criminal offenses committed by Kendra and her associates. She was arrested November of 2022 for shoplifting and robbing Drew's grocery store right next to our residence out in Tootle. She has driven without a license in the time that I have known her personally. Jaden's a relative and has spent her life witnessing the reasons why Kendra should not have overnight stays at this time. I believe that the
I got too many
testing
things
that we
to
have
talk about.
requested has not been met.
I'm sorry, that's the last part of what you said, sir.
Significant drug testing before any overnight stays would ever happen. In my opinion, I'm sorry if I speak out of turn here, but.
And ma'am, anything you want to say?
No, Shayla does have a relationship with Grandpa, and Shayla lived with Grandpa, was raised by Grandpa before us. And Grandpa is just not raising grandchildren. I mean, that's not his role. That's why we accepted both of her children into our residence in the first place. So they had a structured home.
We took the children in because grandparents stepped aside
Right,
and said they couldn't any longer.
Yeah,
And then grandma moved to Oregon and took Michaela with her where Michaela resides.
right.
And grandpa lives alone with Kendra coming in and out whenever she needs. So the children have a place to stay for the courts.
Yeah.
It's an abuse of the system, and I'm trying to just hold my tongue. Sorry.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a long time.
Let me ask a couple of questions. First of all, what has gone on with the current visitation over the last month or two?
We have met every visitation requirement and done extra visits on top of it and stayed longer for visits. It is not our intention to keep these children from their mother.
No.
We want to keep these children safe.
Okay, how have the visits gone with the mother?
Good. We've gone. They've all been supervised. They've been duration of 2 hours plus. Everything seems to be going well while we're there.
She interacts with the kids. They bake cookies. They play games. They open presents or whatever is going on.
It's usually a joint visit because Brian has visits once every other month at this point.
Yeah.
And Shayla has one every other week. So we bring Brian along with because it's also up to us if he can have more outside of our required visits with him. So it's generally a joint visit when we go.
And is it at the grandfather's house?
Yeah, or if
The majority of the time,
yeah.
or an agreed upon public place for like food or something.
Kids play or
Kids
whatever.
museum.
Yeah.
And we've been limping along in this emergency guardianship process. What's the process of getting the actual guardianship?
It's filed, Your Honor. It was filed back in March.
Yeah, and that's where we sit. We need to get a trial date set for this, and that's you folks' responsibility. So we need to get this set for a trial. What's the next trial assignment docket for this?
How was that?
The 20th at 1 p.m.
Pardon?
The 20th at 1 p.m.
Okay, so I'm going to put it on the trial assignment calendar for December 20th at 1 p.m. So we can get a trial date set and get out of this couple of weeks at a time process.
Your Honor, excuse me, sorry. I'm just failing to see, what did we neglect to do?
Set a trial date?
I wasn't.
Right now, the orders that we've got in place are under the emergency, and I apologize, this is a lousy statute that we're working under. And anybody who's involved with it will tell you that. But what's going on is you have emergency orders for a very limited period of time that kind of continue to allow you to be the emergency guardians. Okay, and those are temporary. They can't go for more than 60 days. You filed the proper petition for the guardianship, the one that gets us out of this constant review. But there needs to be a trial on that where a judge makes a determination, yes, the guardianship's appropriate or no, it's not, and under what conditions. So that's what we're setting. I just set for next Wednesday, pardon me, is the hearing where everybody can appear. We'll get a trial date set. So you can present your evidence, everybody can present theirs, and a judge can make that ruling. So that's what that's about.
Okay.
In terms of ongoing contact, I understand as far as concerns, it sounds like they're going pretty well. Have they been consistent?
As consistent as they can with school schedules and I mean, we make it every other week for sure, and then plus some if we can.
Okay. And do we know where their mother is today?
No, Your Honor.
Right.
She's here, I believe.
Your Honor.
Pardon? Oh, there we are. Okay. And how far is the grandfather's home from you folks' home?
About 35 minutes or so.
Okay. Well, given that distance, what I'd be more inclined to do would be to increase the length of the visit rather than the number, because I don't want you folks or the kids constantly on the road. Can
Are 100% fine with that. We just request supervision. We want to be there, or something has to be in place for somebody to be there
for the children. Yeah.
I'm gonna maintain the supervision. So it's either you folks, or if you agree on somebody else, the grandfather, whoever, I will leave that up to you guys. If you can reach an agreement, great. If there isn't an agreement, then it's you folks. I want to extend it to at least 4 hours.
Okay.
Should make it a little easier on everybody. I'm trying not to keep you folks or the kids constantly on the road back and forth.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, so I'll sign an order extending that minor guardianship another 60 days. But everybody get that trial date set next week, and we'll get that aspect of the case off the dime.
Your Honor, if I may, I don't believe we have an emergency order in place. What we have had is the immediate emergency order, but not the actual emergency order. That would be what should get put in place now.
I'll find one and fill it out.
And then I believe I should be discharged as the court visitor. And then if Your Honor wishes me to continue as the guardian ad litem, then a new appointment needs to be made.
I think that's probably appropriate under the circumstances, just so we don't have a reason for further delay.
Well, I'd object to Miss Farr, Your Honor, because she's already showing her bias toward my client. I still understand why my client's not getting overnights. She has a place, her father can supervise, going to what are we doing? 4 hours now? Is it every other weekend? I mean, she was getting every weekend for a while until she unfortunately took a vacation and was gone for a month.
Well,
That's not accurate. She hadn't had time with the child for about 4 years. And then she's taken vacations. She's been in jail. Things have happened that were the mother's doing.
everything's got consequences, so I'm okay.
Yeah. And Your Honor, just for the record,
with the case, so I think she should continue in it. So I will sign the emergency order and the order appointing Ms. Farr as GAL. And I don't think we need to say anything else in this. Just we'll get that trial date next week.